All right, Calli, do you want to tell them a little bit about, UMich Lax and how you got there and some of the steps that it took, coming from a small city like Vero to make it to such a high stage in lacrosse?
Yeah. So I was born and raised in Vero Beach, Florida. I have four brothers. So I have three older brothers, one younger, and we all just played a ton of sports growing up. So I never really enjoyed lacrosse that much until maybe end of middle school. My mom, of course, made me do like the rec leagues, the soccer, the lacrosse with Ford, my little brother. I keep looking at the camera.
Don't look at the camera. Look at me.
My little brother Ford, we did that all that stuff together at the same age, and at the same time, some of my older brothers. Johnny's the oldest, Cole's the second one, and then Bennett's the third oldest. And they're probably like 9 to 6 years older than me, so I'm watching them as a little girl, just doing literally every sport. For Cole, it was a lot of lacrosse, so he went Division 1, and I remember being so young. I wish I took more advantage of like the time that I had watching my brothers. I think we were so young that we were like messing around a lot and playing at those games, but it was really cool to watch them. And then, once I kind of realized what that meant, that he was playing in college, I thought that was a really cool thing. And then growing up in Vero Beach, Florida, like the entire kind of dynasty of like Vero Beach lacrosse is huge here. If you're not from here, it was brought down by a couple of people, and our high school won the state championship like 10 years in a row. So like there's all these girls who are going like Division 1 schools, Division D2, D3 schools that are kind of like your idols and like these rock stars, and they seem so big and huge, and like you're growing up and you just kind of want to be like them. But I think like sometime in like elementary school I started doing competitive dancing, so like I thought I was gonna be a rockette. I thought I was gonna be in like New York City at like Pace University being a rockette, and then that just that track didn't really work out. I think it was like in middle school at some point that like my team kind of quit and we dispersed, and I was thinking I need to probably get back into like sports, and I started doing some indoor volleyball and got back into lacrosse, and like I was so bad, but like I definitely had some sort of athleticism that helped me, whether it was just like speed or running, and I couldn't put it in my left hand, like things like that. I was not anything of any level, but like it was really fun to look up to the girls from Vero, and I think all I wanted to do was be on like Vero varsity. Like that was everyone's dream here when you're in middle school. And I had a great group of girls in my grade that I got to play lacrosse with. A lot of them were like also cheerleaders and whatever, and we all started playing lacrosse together, and we would go to the varsity games like during spring break in 8th grade, and I just knew that was like my goal. And then I think probably sometime in 8th grade I was watching the national championship with UNC, and it was the 2016 national championship, and I was just like, I want to be there so bad. Like I need to play at that level. I need to be on that stage. And just like the feeling I got watching those girls and like them celebrating after they score, and like the fans, just that stage, I was like, I have to get to there. Yeah. Which it's still a dream of mine. I haven't been to that national championship stage yet, but
you made it to that level of playing.
Yeah.
You're D1 lacrosse player on one of the arguably the best girls women's team ever. So
yeah. I'll get into Michigan, like kind of our state of play right now. Yeah. But yeah, so in high school, I was playing for like a local club team, and I saw an opportunity to go play down south for like one of the best club teams in the nation, and I tried out and I made it. And my dad, was driving me down there like 3 times a week. It's like 2-hour drive there and back. We're practicing. I start leaving on weekends. Like I have these tournaments in every fall, every summer, and like my friends don't even know where I'm going. They don't really know like what's going on.
Yeah, you kind of went MIA for
like,
a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you're in high school, and it's all those times like everyone's kind of going out and starting these friend groups and stuff like that. It's kind of hard. You're sitting in a random field in like Pennsylvania and no service, and like you get back and everyone's like, where you been? And but for me it was just worth it because I saw that like end goal in sight. And so anyways, through Vero, a lot of hardships too came with that. Like we can talk about this more later, but like injuries and COVID and all that stuff in high school. And then so I committed to the University of Michigan my junior year on September 9th, and so I was like 17 years old. You're like, damn, I'm going to college. Like, this is crazy.
Was that a crazy feeling for you? Like, did you get a call from Michigan, or how does that work? Do you email them? Like,
yeah.
What are some of those processes to really get in contact with a school like that, or do they contact you?
So starting my freshman year, I would say I started sending emails out to like all these schools. And so a big one for me was UNC because like that was just one that I've been watching since the start.
Yeah.
But later on, I started like discovering University of Michigan, and I was like, wow, I really think this place is so cool. I always have been looking for a school with like a lot of academics and like big sports. Like I just think that's the coolest atmosphere. So you start emailing them, you just send them out. You don't receive a response, but you're like, I'm Calli Norris, I'm 5'9". I think I like put my weight in there a couple times. I'm a righty from Vero Beach, Florida. Like I'm playing on this team.
You can put it in your left hand too now, though.
Yeah. At that time, maybe not. But yeah, you just kind of give them like the lowdown about yourself.
And
like,
you started that process in 9th grade.
Yeah.
So I mean, your highlight tape was probably what, like middle school play and
so bad, like freshman year of high school, just like on Vero Beach High School field, scoring like 3 goals. Like I had nothing.
Were you on varsity your freshman year?
Yeah, I mean
that was a huge accomplishment, right?
Yeah, that was for me at that age, and without like having knowing what else was coming, like that was the biggest thing ever for me, and I was so excited, and I just felt like I was contributing to something like finally larger than myself, and this huge dream of mine that I've been growing up watching. So yeah, that was really cool. I made it with 2 other freshmen at the time. And it was just like our little tight knit.
Yeah.
It was really cool. But yeah, anyway, so I would send out these emails. You kind of get closer to junior. So like September 1st of your junior year is when coaches can like talk to you for the first time. And so like leading up to that, there's kind of some like sneaky stuff going on. Like, they'll tell your club coach if they're like interested in you or not.
So, so like it kind of goes from like down the line to you. Is that illegal?
Like, yeah, but it's like a loophole. So that's how they can. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this or not.
We can blur it out if it's.
No, I think it's fine. I think like everyone kind of knows that goes on, and like it's not directly to you. It's just like they'll tell your coach. Your coach reaches out to them. They'll be like, yeah, we're interested or no, we're not. And it's like that simple. And then your coach will just kind of like send you a list of people that are like yes or no, which is kind of crazy. So like I remember, I think if I remember correctly, the first school that I ever heard was like interested in me was the University of Michigan. And at the time I didn't really care that much because I was like, I wasn't into it. Like I didn't really discover like what the Block M and like everything like that means. But I just remember thinking like, wow, that's such a cool school. Like, I can't believe I just got like my first interest thing.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's like Colorado, Florida, Navy, like all of these places, like Northwestern, and they kind of just keep trickling in, and you're like 16 years old. And it's like, wow, like all these people want me. It's just like a crazy thing. And then you get to September 1st after like keeping up with these emails, and most people stay up till midnight because you'll get calls and texts like right as it turns. So like
seriously, like right at midnight?
Yeah. So like it's not, I wouldn't say it's as intense as like a football player or like a baseball player waiting until that night and like their phone is blowing up, but it's like you start getting like multiple texts, multiple emails, like people calling your phone if you've put yourself in a good position.
Yeah. Were you one of the top recruits for females in 2022?
I went through a lot of injuries, but before I was injured, I was top 60 in my class.
Wow.
But below top 10, they don't rank you. So like, it's just like 10 names and then
it's just like
50 extra girls of like who were there. But I got injured before like my sophomore summer, which is like the biggest recruiting summer. So I couldn't participate in like a lot of the ranking type of things, but like my name was on there before, and then it stayed up there when I started playing again.
I mean, you had to go through so much like adversity because you tore your ACL.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I tore my left ACL, both meniscus, and then 8 months later, I tore my right one.
Oh my gosh!
Before I was even playing again.
Yeah.
And both my meniscus again. So I had 2 knee reconstructions in high school, which was like a crazy thing to go through at that age.
That's a lot, yeah.
I know you remember me like crutching around all the time.
Gosh, and like I'm just now really thinking about it. That's actually insane. Like how much adversity you went through. You freaking tore both your ACLs in each leg, like back to back, and you're balling out at one of the best girls across schools in the nation. Yeah,
I think a huge piece of that I really am thankful to for my coaches is that like they didn't care.
Yeah.
I think that they expressed to me that they saw a lot of just like heart and athleticism, and like could tell that I was the type of person that just wasn't gonna let like an injury hold me back. And it's kind of funny because like we really didn't know each other then.
They just felt the vibe.
Yeah.
You're a go-getter.
They stuck it out with me, and like I think when I look back at my recruiting process, I'm really glad I went to a school that like showed so much love for me, because I think there's people who try to go to these like amazing top schools that like don't even really want them that badly. They just want to get there.
Yeah.
And I think that they really made it so known that like they still wanted me. Even with like all the shit I've been through. Can I cuss?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Have you seen like more and more of like cameras and stuff on you? Like, have you been having to get more comfortable with cameras and interviews, being at that level of playing fields?
I had one of my first interviews at the end of this season when I started kind of like getting more goals and stuff like that. And it was kind of funny. It was just like a sideline thing. And it just goes back to like the Michigan Daily, which is like our school, like huge newspaper. But I was like a little nervous, but like, honestly, no, I can also get into this too later, but like I came in behind a really great class of players. So every one of them like had been starting since their freshman year. You know, one of them I came in behind was Jill Smith, and if you look up her name, like you will just see like stats, records broken, like all this stuff.
She was balling out hard.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's a great player.
Did she graduate?
She just graduated.
So you're taking her kind of position now.
Yeah, well, like I just like my point was that I've been behind. Like I was a class behind them, so like they received a lot of the like spotlight, which was completely deserved, and like they should have, because they did so much for our program and like brought us the Elite Eight last year, brought us a Sweet 16 like this year, and so like they received a lot of the like, oh, this class is gonna do it all, and so like there really hasn't been a ton of focus on like the people under, other than like, you know, a couple girls in my grade. Like one of the girls in my grade played for like the USA U19 team, so like she's gotten a little bit more spotlight, but like I honestly haven't had to really like do anything yet. Do
you feel any pressure, you know, coming up after all these great girls that were ahead of you, like for your senior year of playing?
Yes and no. I think this summer I've been working a corporate job, and it kind of allowed me to step back and be like, okay, like lacrosse isn't everything. And I knew that before. I'm like a pretty faithful person, and I really like value my relationship with Christ too. So like I know that like I don't put my identity in lacrosse, but it helped me just realize that like I can just go in and be myself and be like, all my hard work will pay off.
Yeah.
I don't feel necessarily a pressure to like be the best player in the country. I just feel a pressure to like lead my team, which I just want to do really well. I want to like make sure I'm just there for the younger girls, there for the girls in my grade, and just like bringing us to a really good place. Just like leaving it better than I found it. But yeah, not lost, but like I've kind of like let go of that feeling of feeling like I need to be like the best. And I don't even necessarily mean my team. I think just like in my grade in general, and like across all of these different schools, like there was a time where I'm like, oh, people aren't like, I don't know how to say this without sounding a certain way, but like, I thought, you know, I had more to give, and like people didn't really know who I was yet. So I thought that was like coming up. And like this year I did really well. I had a ton of goals, a lot of points, and I didn't receive like any type of like media, I guess. And like, I just realized how much it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like I still did an awesome job. I did the best of my ability with like what I had, and like had a great year with my team. And I just like want my team to do better next year. So I've definitely like let go of that kind of image I had of myself. And so that's where I think I've lost, like, I don't feel that pressure anymore. Does that make sense?
I feel that. No, I know what you're saying. It's pretty complicated, especially for me to say, just because, you know, I played lacrosse a little bit, but obviously not to the level you did. But I guess it could go hand in hand with kind of just like the things I've been doing, like the restaurant and stuff. And at one point it was like, I want the best pizza restaurant in the whole entire world, you know, Michelin star, all this. And it's like, dude, to do that, you really have to sacrifice everything around you, and that's all you do. And I think there's a lot more to life than just that kind of stuff. Is that kind of like down the line of what you're saying?
Yeah. And I think if you can find more benefit out of other things than just like the label on it, is great. Because like I said, when I kind of like step back this summer and realize like there's a whole world out there outside of athletics and like college sports. And that doesn't mean I'm not going to like keep it on this pedestal. Like I'm going to do my very freaking
Ball
best
out,
this
yeah.
year, and I'm gonna like work my ass off. I've been working my ass off for 4 years. Like it didn't stop when I started working this summer. I was doing 2-a-days, like waking up at 5 a.m. before work, working out right after work.
Putting
like,
that grind in.
yeah, like it doesn't stop, but it doesn't mean I'm going to work any less harder. But like when you just stop gripping onto it so tight,
Yeah.
I think it allows you just to enjoy it so much more. So that's kind of like the outlook I've been having. I'm really excited to go into this year and just be, you know, like the best person I can be. Like I'm a senior, which is crazy. It's like flown by. But I just like want to be that person that people, especially the younger girls, I want them to just like remember that I was like a great person to be around. I helped them whenever I could. And I also just like helped them laugh and enjoy the times. Cause like college is hard. It's like you're away
stressful,
from home. It's
yeah.
stressful. It's like you want to just enjoy it. And you don't need to make it deeper than it is. But yeah, anyways.
Do you think this outlook that you have now is have you gotten more into your faith with God and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Is that kind of what's helped you kind of with this like view you have on everything now?
Yeah.
And has that been recent, or that's really recent, or like?
I would say in the past year, I really found like my identity in Christ, which is like, I was thinking about this podcast and I was like, it's going to come up. Like I know it's gonna talk about it all the time. And I actually was living with another Christian this summer in Oregon. She plays lacrosse at Stanford, and she was the best lacrosse player in our class, which is crazy because I used to watch this girl and play against her.
Like the number one, like
yes, she literally was top 3 in our class.
Wow.
And you know, she was kind of like riddled with injuries recently, and she kind of hasn't gotten like the spotlight in college that like we all kind of thought she would.
Yeah. And
that she thought she would. And then I listened to her this summer, and like the things that she says and like her outlook on it all is just so firmly rooted in like her faith. And it's pretty transformative. But you know, I've grown up around faith my entire life, and you know, I was kind of like, sorry, mom and dad, but I was like forced to go to church with them. Like I hated it. I resented it a lot, and just didn't find like meaning and like my worth in it. And I think like sometime in Vero, I met a woman named Libby Sanderson. She runs like the Youth for Christ program here in Vero. And she was like a huge person in my life. She sat with me through a lot of like really hard, dark times during COVID and those injuries. Like she was like my unlicensed therapist, and she never brought up God because I like didn't want to, and I didn't really believe. Like I hate to even say that, but like I didn't. And then you know, she slowly started like praying for me and kind of like sliding in there a little bit and like being really, really patient with me because I'm a stubborn, like hard-headed person. I know what I want and things like that. And like if I didn't want to talk about God, like I'm like, don't. So we would just like meet, and she helped me with my walk a lot. But like even then I went to school and I just like didn't find any time for it. I didn't really care. It was like performative, which means that like I would maybe pray if I wanted to like play better in lacrosse, or like I would pray because I was scared like my grandma was sick, or like things like that. Or it's like you want to just go to God when things are like hard, or you want a good outcome out of it. And then last year, and I go to a D group, which is like a discipleship group with my team. It started with like 4 girls my freshman year. It's now we're at like 17 to 20 girls, which is just crazy for like
you guys grew on it.
Team. Yeah. So we have like our prayer
cool.
circles before games. It's really special. But like I would go to it and I just kind of like wouldn't prioritize it. And then last summer, I was going through like a weird time. My little brother Ford, obviously that's Justin's best friend, but he was going through a really tough time like with schools, and just like I think he was really lost. And like as an older sister, it's really hard to watch. And you know, I've never even like admitted this to him before, but it just is like it makes you emotional. You just want the best for them. And like I was sitting at a place where like I'm at the University of Michigan. I'm at like one of the best schools in the country. I have it made right now. I'm like in this great house. I have these amazing roommates. I'm playing Division I lacrosse, like, and it all worked out so well for me. And it's like I just wanted the same thing for him, and I was really just like really sad that like he couldn't figure out what was going on with like schools, and just he was also in Division I lacrosse. It didn't work out, and I thought that like he had to have the same clear-cut path. And so I just was like really stressed and overwhelmed for him. And at the same time, our grandma was dying. And it was just like a tough time last summer. And I kind of like, I think I went for a walk and I was like, God, I know that I don't really talk to you that much. But I just kind of started talking out loud, and I was like, if you have anything for me, like, I don't know. I hate asking for a sign because then I think people like look for it in the wrong places. But a couple weeks later, I just randomly like listened to this podcast, and it was talking about like, I'll get into like serious details for a second, but like it's talking about Mark chapter 4 verses 22 through like 40 about how like Jesus healed this woman who'd been bleeding for 12 years, and like really specific details about it, and like how you don't need to like see it to believe, and like a lot about faith. And then like randomly the next day I go into church with my dad because he forced me to go again. I'm like, oh my God. And they talked about the same exact thing.
That's
and like
crazy.
there's some more details in between there that like just made it even crazier for me. But like after that, I was like, wow, I'm so blessed, and like I've had too many incidents in my life that just aren't coincidences anymore. And I just decided like that day, then and there, that I would just I can't believe in coincidences.
Coincidence. Yeah, it's crazy. We've had a couple of guests on the pod so far, and pretty much everyone has said that, like looking back on it, there's so many different like signs and stuff, but you kind of just throw them off. Like you're like, oh, it's like just another coincidence. Like that's when you saw that, I'm sure, like, I mean, that gave me the chills thinking of it. That's pretty freaking crazy. And you do seem a lot more like, I feel your aura, dude. Like your energy is super light, it seems like, and super happy and positive. So
yeah.
That's really good. I'm glad that you found that. And
thanks. Yeah. And it hasn't been like a rock or a super smooth path from there. Like there's times where it's like you don't want to open the Bible. It feels like a chore, and like I still don't. I haven't opened it in a couple of days, honestly. Yeah. But I think it's just the way that I view everything now. Like I just have a different mindset, and just I'm not working for myself anymore. I'm not working for like any type of spotlight. I think that was like a big thing in like that mindset shift I was talking about earlier. But yeah, and it took me like another 2 months to like even open the Bible for the first time. But like once I did, I tried to like read it more. And I've like found a random devotional in a free library, the ones like on the sidewalk.
Yeah, just random.
Untouched right there. Like this 365-day devotional. And like, I swear, Justin, some of the things that I've opened up in there have correlated so closely with my life that I'm like, it's like mind boggling. Yeah. Like, I don't understand how it can match up so perfectly. Like, especially like in the past 9 months, I've lost like 4 grandparents. And like every time it is like specifically said something to help me that day, like when I needed it, and like, or I'd been thinking about it right before I read it. And then like, it's there in words. And it's just, there's a lot of stuff that's like, just, I don't know. It's really just life-changing. And,
it's so cool to think too. Like, a lot of these people I have been talking to recently who like have found God and stuff, there's one thing in common about all of them, and it's they speak truth. Like now, like even you, like you're just literally speaking truth. You're being so truthful. You're being honest, and that's what like a common denominator I've found with like stuff like that is. And I think it's like the best way to kind of go throughout life is. And I mean, I'm not perfect, and I've done some like messed up bad stuff, but. Same. Just like we all have been, but seriously, these past couple months, like the start of summer, is like me and Ford have became so close. Mm-hmm. Calli's brother, my best friend, and he's helped me just kind of like walk the walk and talk the talk, just being truthful to yourself and to God and to others, and mm-hmm. and when you start putting stuff out like that, like obviously there's always going to be, ladders to climb and stuff, but you really do see like goodness start coming into your life.
Yeah. I think it's all about just like living in like glorious thankfulness, and like just understanding that like everything you have is just such a blessing, and not looking at it in the ladder. But yeah, I love your guys' relationship. It's like my favorite thing to watch and be around. You guys are just like such good influences on each other, and like they've been best friends since
You're young.
So young.
Dude, I remember, I'm sorry to cut you off. But
no, like, let's get into it.
I remember when like Cole and John, or not, maybe Johnny was in the house, but like Cole, or Johnny definitely was. Cole, Johnny, and Bennett, and like your parents are out of town, or not even out of town. They're over across the street having dinner at the Long's house, and they're like have people come in and they lock you in your room. And I remember like so vividly, like you like, Justin, Ford, help me out. Like trying to get helped out. And me and Ford just can't do anything. We're like, oh, Calli, you're stuck in there. You're stuck in there till the party's over, girl. I'm sorry, but
so bad. Like we used to have a door there that they could lock. Like they would cut off our entire hallway because like Ford and I's room were in the back of the house, and we would get stuck in there every single weekend. And I would like start fake crying behind the door. And of course, like they always think Ford was cooler than me because he's just a guy, and like they would let him and his friends out, and I'd be stuck in my room all night. So sad.
Calli, you had a great internship this summer in Oregon at the Nike headquarters. What were you doing there?
I was working in corporate FP&A, so corporate financial planning and analysis.
Oh shit!
So a little finance intern.
Yeah, oh, finance girl. What? I didn't know. That's crazy. Is that what your major in college is?
I'm majoring in economics with a minor in business at the Ross School of Business. So not super financy. Like I'm taking a finance and accounting class this upcoming fall, but I haven't even taken one yet. And so this was kind of just like diving into a whole new world. And I heard a lot of terms I've never heard before, but I'm trying to do finance because I think it's a good base to have to then go and do whatever you want. So like if I do it for however many years, I can like if I come up with a good business idea, like I'll have the background to be able to go apply that and support myself in like something that I'm really passionate about.
Would it be something along the line of sports? I mean, I know you've been in sports your whole life, or I mean, what is like one of your bigger dreams maybe like after college?
Yeah, I think sports is definitely one of them. I think like it's just such an amazing world to be a part of, and like there's so much inspiration in sport. Like being at Nike, the videos they make and the way that they just like captivate you with like their marketing and like just like the story of sport. Like a big thing this summer is like storytelling. Like that's how Nike has been like the biggest sports brand in the world, is because they like story tell very well. And I learned a lot about that and like how to do it and like how you're supposed to present and story tell. I'm kind of losing track of where I was going. What did you ask me?
I asked you like, you know, maybe some of your dreams or aspirations after college.
Right. So I am like obsessed with sports. I think it's just like the coolest thing out there, and the way that like the fans and everybody I just think it's the coolest thing. Like whether it's you're running a marathon or it's like your favorite football team, or it's just like little girls like playing in sports for the first time. Like I think it is the coolest, most impactful thing in the world. So I definitely want to stay like in the sports business, but I think another passion of mine that I would want to pursue is maybe in the cooking world.
Really?
Yeah.
I know you have a little cooking account if you want to shout it out.
I do. It's not counting cows. It's with 2 S's at the end, but it's merely a hobby. No, I love food and I love cooking and I love baking and just like the whole world that comes with it. That's why I think what you do is just so cool, and that like the fact that you turned your passion into like a lifelong thing to support yourself and you get to have fun and do that every day. Like I'm so proud of you, and I think that's just, I don't know, it's so fun. But I look at a lot of like chefs and things like that, and I think what they do is very cool. And like how people make their own cookbooks and things like that.
It's a form of art.
Yeah, it is. So I don't know. And with the social media these days, it's just, you never know. Like you can totally just become like a cooking influencer, and people will seriously follow you, and like you can create a whole like livelihood out of it. So I don't know.
You have that energy and like that, like people just gravitate towards you to do something like that, I believe.
Thanks, Justin.
Yeah.
I love that. I also like another one of my like secret passions. I don't talk about this that much, but like I love like show business, and like I think it has to do with the fact that I was like a dancer for so many years, but like I just love music and like dancing and shows and actresses. Like I just like think that's really cool. So like if I could find myself in that world, I think, I don't know, like Broadway, I don't know.
That stuff's really cool.
I don't know.
I don't know how much I can talk on this, but our film producer Keith, his long like dream has been to do a short film.
Really?
And so we're gonna do it. So if you want to like just come around and mess around and be an actor, I'm sure you'd love it. Yeah, because I think Ford told me like you low key love acting, don't you? You could be a really good actor, I'm thinking.
All of my best friends know that my dream is to be an actress.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be famous like whatsoever. Like I don't want any of that. I just want to act in movies so bad. Or be on Broadway. But I'm just not that good of a singer. Ford will tell you.
I thought you can sing low key.
Ford, my brother, is a really, really great pianist, and he's self-taught, and he'll sit at the piano and I'll go sit next to him. try to sing with him. He's like, Calli, you're literally messing with me.
Damn. So, I mean, yeah, you have a couple things that you want to.
I'll see where life takes me.
Yeah. Do you know where, I mean, this is pretty crazy question to ask, but do you know like where you'd want to live after college?
I think like New York City is the classic pipeline. To just like finding yourself, and
I think, I mean,
a lot of dreams come true there.
All the stuff you talked about too. I feel like in New York, it's like, I mean, you got food, acting's huge, and the sports biz is huge. Yeah. So, I mean, there might be a way you can kind of do all three together.
I know. You never know. I visited San Francisco this summer. I haven't been since I was like 9 years old, so I really didn't know what to expect, and I really loved it. I like how there's like a nature feel there, and like people will just go work out, and like go jump in the bay or go for a hike, and like there's still kind of like that work life. And it's a big city. Like
it is big.
It's as much of it. It's not as big as New York City, but like it's more of a city than like a lot of smaller ones. And
they have skyscrapers and stuff, right?
They still have that kind of hustle energy. But then at the same time, like when you're not working, it's like slow down, like enjoy being outside, which I really like. Mm-hmm. That's part that might scares me like a little bit about New York City is like I don't want to feel like I'm in a box. Yeah. Of just like not getting outside enough and not being in like really cool pieces of nature. Because I experienced that a lot this summer in Oregon, and like it's not like I need to do it year round, but like it's definitely nice to have a balance of just like being in nature. It's like so grounding.
I mean, you do have like upstate New York and stuff, but I mean in the wintertime it's probably crazy, you know?
I don't know enough, but I think there's a huge Michigan to New York pipeline, and I think I'll probably end up following it, but I also like want to travel and like see the world, and I don't care if I have to like hunker down in a hostel. I want to experience a lot of things. So like I'm definitely not confining myself to one box. So we'll see where it takes me.
Back to your food Instagram, not counting calories. Is that like a metaphor because you're cooking some like crazy foods, or are you seriously kind of like, is it healthy foods but not too much calories? And I know, I mean, your name's Calli obviously too, so it's like there's all sorts of little metaphors I feel like in there.
Yeah. I mentioned earlier that that time in high school with like injuries and COVID was a really tough time, and being injured, I went through like a lot of like body image issues, and so I think like the name was kind of like a play on words of like don't count calories. Like, it's like I'm talking about it very lighthearted now because it's just like I'm so balanced now. Like I will literally like I will never think about that stuff, and I think it's just so much more important to enjoy life and like everything it has to offer.
Exactly.
Or, like, looking a certain way, but like when I had my knee reconstructions, like I'm naturally just like a stronger person, and like I work out all the time. I'm constantly lifting. And when I got my surgeries, like I lost all muscles in my legs, and like they were just really thin, like chicken looking legs. And like I've never seen like that image of myself before, and so it's just a lot of things came through that time. If you're so used to working out every single day, you're thinking like, oh, I shouldn't be eating as much then if I'm not working out at all. And like a lot of that stuff happens in like women's sports, and honestly, like it's not really talked enough about, but it's really prevalent, and it's like really prevalent on my team. And like I think every team there's at least one person who has struggled with something before, and like I'm really happy that I am out of that place, but like it's just hard, and like you're 16 years old and you're comparing yourself to other girls, and other girls who aren't even playing sports, and like you're seeing them at the beach, and like it's a tough thing to navigate, especially with social media. But I think it was just a way for me to like kind of be funny, but also like, I love the fullness of life that comes with the experience of eating food, cooking food, trying new foods, doing it with people that you love. Like, I think that is literally like the greatest thing that you get out of so many different experiences. So
is that when you really like found kind of your passion for cooking food and stuff, is when or have you always kind of loved food?
I don't know. My mom has always cooked, but she's cooking for like 5 kids and a family of 7, and I'm sure that gets really old. And you could tell like kind of near like the end of my high school, and like now, or like end of high school for me, she kind of was like, I don't don't want to cook anymore. Like, probably sucked doing
Yeah.
22 years. My oldest brother's 30 right now, so like you're cooking for 30 years for 5 kids, like it's crazy.
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine like how the numbers behind it, how many meals she's cooked. And
it's like that, at that point you're just buying in bulk and trying to like have enough to feed every mouth, and you kind of lose sense of the like art of cooking, I think. But like I always just grew up watching her cook, and then I think once I learned I could like do a little bit just from like memory, I was like, okay, this is kind of fun. I loved baking. That was when I was super into baking. Now I'm more into like trying new recipes. Like I love going to a farmer's market. I don't really know when like it was specifically. I think maybe freshman year. There was a girl, she was 2 years older than me. She's one of my best friends. Her name is Josie Gooch, and she is currently in New York City working in investment banking, but we played lacrosse together at Michigan. And she was like the circle like huddle leader before practices and games. She passed that down to me, so like that's now like my role on the team too, is like hype everyone up before practices and games. And I just looked up to her so much, and she had a food account called That Food Is Gucci, like, but it's spelled in like her last name.
That's dope.
She just was like so cool that like she just made like these farmers markets and like these cool places look like such fun experiences, and like post the coolest pictures of them. And I was like, I kind of want to recreate that. So then I just kind of like made that account and started taking good pictures of food. And I've also been fortunate enough to like be with a family that has taken me to try amazing places and be able to make my own money to go buy whatever I wanted to
enjoy those meals. Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
Cooking is so cool.
It's literally the best.
It really is.
I know you probably get like, there's probably days where you're really tired of working and things like that.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm so proud that you like, made that, you know, like.
Thank you. Yeah. No, I love it. The thing I was going to say is like, doing the podcast is, I love it just as much as cooking food, because I think it's an art in itself, like bringing on a guest and letting them, like people get to kind of live through your perspective of life for like 40 minutes or however long the podcast is. So I think that's super cool.
Yeah, I love it. And I wanted to touch on something really quick, because you asked, I don't know like how much time we have, but you asked me about Nike earlier and like how my experience was, and I just got to tell you like what my role was. But I think this has been like the most transformative summer of my life. I mentioned before, like I had my roommate. She brought me like to like crazy places and like really helped me with my faith. But then like other than that, her name is Pete Williams, by the way, and she's just an awesome person. I had a great time with her. And then I'm at this place. I'm in Portland, Oregon, and I'm from Vero Beach, Florida. It's literally like opposite sides of the country. Same amount of time to get from Oregon to Hawaii than it is to get to Florida. Like
that's crazy.
You're just so far. You're in a 3-hour time difference. Like you have to be super intentional with your time, like how you are talking to friends back home and family. But like I went there with just like a super preconceived notion about Portland and like what it was going to be like out there, and then I'm never going to move there. And I was worried that like some of the people were going to be weird and like whatever. And I get there, and it's like as soon as you kind of like, remember how I mentioned before, like let go of that like tight grip you have on everything. It's like you just let go and you meet the best freaking people. Like no matter where you go, like there's always so many different people with such different like lived experiences and backgrounds and cultures and families and faith, and like what built them up makes them so cool. And because I went there without knowing anyone, I had just like the best experience of my life getting to know these random ass people. And like ranging from like one of my good friends that I was like playing beach volleyball with last summer was like 36 years old. Like, and you come to work and he's like, "How you doing, Calli?" I'm like, "Donald, come on, man."
God, it's the beauty of life, though,
yeah,
for real.
It really was. And like I think both of us are from this like small town in Vero Beach, Florida. Like we all go to the same high school.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like you just, and you've gone out, like you go to the city, like you travel, like you expand your horizons.
Yeah.
Like you're so good at making friends with so many different people. And I'm just so happy I went there first of all the way out there. Second of all, like without knowing anyone, and just like let my guard down and was like vulnerable with people that I never thought I would be friends with. Cause like, you know, you go somewhere and like, it's so easy to judge a book by its cover. Like, especially with people who are just from different schools and like whatever, like, you just think they're like not funny or weird.
Yeah,
like,
just they're different.
Yes.
I think it's different is the biggest thing.
Yes.
You just think they're different, and you kind of scares and like makes a lot of people go away from even ever talking to them or trying to even build a relationship. But I think difference is what makes cool relationships and cool things happen. And getting out of your comfort zone. And like I had to go do a talk about culinary school in front of like 500 kids. And
when?
This is my freshman year at culinary school.
No way.
Yeah, at the high school. So I know like some of these seniors that
Mhm.
up like, so
Yeah.
it made it even worse because I
Yeah.
know these people, and so that was a big thing for me because it made me get out of my comfort zone because the teacher assistant that I went with, like she was supposed to be doing all the reading. 30 minutes before she hands me a thing of note cards and she's like, "You're going to do it." And I'm like, "No, the hell I'm not."
Go.
Yeah, it went really well, I think. Like, yeah, I was nervous as hell. I'm like, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, this is crazy." Like, I don't even know what we're talking about. And it was like this little game show we did with kids. Like, I brought up, like, picked out a random kid, brought him up, asked them like 5 culinary questions. If they got them all right, like prize or whatever. But like, still, like, dude, I walk out there and it's like kids that are my age, but I'm like on the stage talking to them. So it was like, it was pretty weird. And it could be like, it was just different. I think difference kills a lot of people's dreams.
Yeah. And I
or
think, too,
uncomfortability.
You're good at not letting, like, not caring what people think about you.
Yeah.
And I think, like, that's a hard, even if you don't care what people think about you and you go into that situation, like, that's still nerve wracking.
No, it is. And I mean, that's been one of the biggest things I've overcame is just like, just living life like for yourself, and that sounds kind of like almost arrogant, but like not in that sense. Like, like, gosh, it might be hard, but you might not see this friend you grew up with for your whole life for a couple of years because you have a dream down in Miami or New York that you want to go chase. Like, I don't think any of that should hold someone back from going and trying to do what they love, or even like, dude, the social gimmicks, like social aspects of like, should I post this on IG? I don't know what they're going to think. Dude, if you like it, post it on IG. If you want this cool video, like, just stuff like that. I think that holds a lot of people back, but I think you do great with that as well. I mean, like, was there ever anything in your mind that was like, oh, I don't know if I should make this Not Counting Cal's Instagram, like, and posting videos?
Yeah,
like,
because it's like people think some things are just cringy, and
it's
like, not just, there's so much like weird culture in our age these days, and that's where I'm like, wait, if you want to be an influencer, like, go try it. Who cares? If
you
people
literally
judge you, who cares? They're not going to be judging you when you're getting like PR and all this brand stuff. Like, they're not gonna care.
No, then they're gonna be like,
people
oh,
are judging you for making a restaurant. Like, guess when they're not gonna be judging you? When they're eating your fucking pizza.
Yeah.
Like, it's so stupid, and it's like, just literally, like, know who's in your corner and like stick with them and have their backs because they've had yours. And also, like, don't be afraid to like open your horizons to more people. I think like that's what I got to do this summer, is like open my horizons.
That's
to more
cool.
people.
Yeah.
Like, I've had the same, like, my home friend group and my school friend group, and now I've got all of these different people across the world.
Like global connects.
School, like, I'm gonna keep those connections for as long as I possibly can. But it's like, just do what is like in your path, and like just hold tight those people that support you and that have been there for you and like aren't judging you, because it's just, what's the point?
Yeah. I have one more thing I would like to ask and see what you'd say about it. If you had 30 seconds to talk to maybe a younger Calli or a girl similar, or even a guy, like someone that was maybe in the same shoes that had to go through all, like, 2 ACLs or just any kind of, bump that they had to get through. Like, I mean, you could have easily just stopped playing sports right there, like that would have been the easy way out. But you're like, no, let me rehab and let me chase this dream of mine. And what would you tell either your younger self or, someone out there who might be going through something the same?
Do you want it to be like sport focused or just like life?
I think sport, life, everything. Because I mean, obviously there's a big impact on your sports, but it's also definitely a big impact on your mental health. Sitting there for 8 months and then 8 months later you tear your other leg. Like that's so like just life focused, I think.
Okay, I'll try to keep it to 30 seconds. But I think one thing that I regret not doing is like putting my all in sooner. I think you can see a lot of fruitfulness out of like your life in the different areas that you are like constantly feeding. And like, if you're feeding the wrong things, like that is also going to become fruitful. And like, whether it's, I don't really think like going out and drinking whatever is a bad thing. I have a lot of fun. I have great friends. But like, when you're doing that, when you should be doing something else, it's like, that's where that's going to probably cause some problems. And like, I think that I was putting so much into like what people thought about me, what's going to happen, like so much anxious thoughts, like in the future. And like, what if this doesn't work? What if, like, just go do it. And like, I know that's like so corny because I work so quickly, but like literally just go do it. Like, go do whatever you want to do, go follow it, and like put your all into it, because then you like really can't look back and have any regrets. Like, I think for me, that was less for sports. That was more like for school. And I wish I got more out of some of the classes I was taking, some of like those things that I wish I learned more because I just didn't put my all into it. So that's probably one of them. And then I think another one is just like, I don't want to make this about faith because I know that like faith doesn't apply to everyone, but I think there's a saying in it that's like, if it's not good, it is not finished. And I just think, just know, like, just because something has failed or like has not gone your way or just seems like is going to shit does not mean that like you're going to be in this period or this season forever. Like everything does just come in seasons and waves, and like you can kind of recognize maybe when you're in like a low or when you're in a high, and just like I think when you just try to regulate that and remember that like all of it is in perspective, and like you can find good in both the low and the high. You can find bad in the high, you can find bad in the good or in the low, obviously. And like I think just like trying to regulate it all and understand like taking literally everything as it comes and enjoying like all of the beautiful aspects of life, and just understanding that like it really isn't that deep, and like your connections and like all that stuff is really the stuff that matters, and like what you're learning from everything is just so important. Like those things that just feel like they have like such a hard hold on you just really don't matter that much, and you can just find great things like where you're like gardening basically and like feeding. So I think
that's great. I think that,
I don't know if that was like a ramble or if that made sense.
No, I think it made complete sense.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up. Calli, thank you so much for coming.